Good morning, everyone. I hope everyone's days are flowing along and they're able to find new things during this corona business. I read a quote this morning that says, "Knowledge is power." And I thought about that quote and I was wondering if that was true for me. And I came to the realization that I think humility is power. That's what I think is more powerful than anything. And so if I'm going to say that statement, I'm going to have to explain what I think humility is. So first I'm going to explain what I thought it was. So in high school, when I ran varsity cross country, I was pretty good. You know, it wasn't the best, but I was really good. And someone would ask, like, "Esther, you did really great in your race. Like, are you good? You're running varsity now. Like, what was your time? You're so talented." And I was like, yeah, I'm okay. And I would, in my head, I wasn't thinking that. I was like, yeah, I'm amazing. Are you kidding me? Did you see me run? I'm incredible. But out loud, I would kind of like dumb myself down. And I thought that, oh, I need to be humble. I can't say how great I am or I'm not humble. But as I grew up and as I learned more Torah, I learned who the most humble figure in Torah is in our Jewish history. And that was Moshe Rabbeinu. And so how is he the most humble? So he said, "HaShem, you gave me so many gifts in this world. You gave me like incredible gifts. Thank you so much. Like, I'm so powerful. But if you would have given these gifts to anyone else, they would have been far greater than I." And so that inspired him by recognizing that his gifts are from HaShem to live his most fulfilled and his fulfilled life. And that's what true humility is. It doesn't mean thinking you're great but saying you're not. It means it would mean I would answer the first question when someone asked me how great I was in cross country. I would say, wow, yeah, I trained so hard and I'm so blessed because HaShem, God, gave me this amazing gift and ability to run and have stamina and be healthy in my body. And I feel so blessed and empowered. Like, thank you, HaShem, for this gift. And like, also finding out, okay, you get the point. So if I would have known that then I think my life would have looked a little different. And of course, I'm still learning that. I'm still learning what true humility is. But I think that's so beautiful and so powerful because it's real. It's so real. And when I was waking up this morning, I found I was so excited. Like, I was so excited to start my morning routine. And then I kind of like became less excited and I took out the garbage and I was like, oh, I have to like go down and like, no, but being real, that it wasn't the most exciting like journey after a few minutes. But then I like re-excited myself and then I was kind of confused. Like, why are we sometimes so inspired and then other times we're not? And like, it could happen so fast. And so I kind of put together on this piece of paper some of my thoughts. As I was doing yoga, they came to me. I think by recognizing how incredible and how infinite that we are, it helps us see the world in our life in a totally different way. So when I was looking like, oh, I really don't want to go daven, I was just viewing davening and my mundane things like making food and doing school like as just another mundane action. But I forgot in that moment that no action or day or moment is the same. And in order for me to have realized that, I would have to realize within myself that I'm not the same. Like, each moment changes. As each moment changes into a new moment, we are given the opportunity to be a totally new self. Rabbi David Aron, incredible Rav, writes incredible Sfarim, writes about how true love is knowing someone and every single day allowing them to be a totally new person, to see them in a totally new light. And I think that's so powerful, to let go of who we think we are in every single moment and who someone else is. You know, if you're dating someone, you're like, oh, this is my boyfriend and he's like this and he does this and I'm me and I do this and I like this. And we already immediately, when we do that, put ourselves in a box and limit our potential because we put like a label, we put like an identity on someone else's actions. So like if your boyfriend is an artist and or you're an artist, but then he wants to go, run track, or I'm giving very basic examples, by the way. You would be like, well, that's weird. Like, he's an artist. Like, why is he going to do that? So I think it's important to recognize how maybe if we have a perception of someone in our head, how we would kind of limit ourselves and block ourselves from allowing them to be a new person. More importantly, the way to hold space for another person to be new is to do it within yourself. So I realized during yoga how each day it's so miraculous and we are so miraculous. And if we allow ourselves to have a new identity in every moment, then that would allow us to see the world totally different in every single moment. And how is this true humility? Because true humility is recognizing our infinite greatness inside, which means infinite potential to be anyone we want in this world. So I was learning later on in Chayenu, and I'm reading my notes because I love the way that it was quoted. And he says that today is Malchut Shebenetach. It's like the kingship, the outcoming of like victory, however you would say that. One of the meditations for today is endurance. Is my endurance dignified? And so one way that I saw endurance was, how am I viewing every single morning? How am I viewing all the mundane actions that I have to do? Am I viewing it like, oh, I have to do it again, it's just another thing? Am I like not letting it even be a new fun experience because I already know what it's like? Or am I saying, okay, like, let's allow something new to happen. Let's get out of my comfortability, maybe change my perspective, try something a little different. So the Rebbe said that how do we know if our endurance is dignified? When confronted with a hardship, or something different, do I let my fear consume me? Or do I behave in a graceful way, in a dignified way? So when something comes and it like catches me off guard, or someone's like new, or something scary or just different than what I'm used to, do I become afraid and do I kind of like back down and like do I coward and try to hide from it? Or do I become like dignified, like, whoa, this is new, this is exciting, like the state of the soul is in this place of curiosity, exciting. Am I able to like look at this and like bend with it and not be afraid because everything that I knew that I'm comfortable in is going to change? Or am I becoming afraid and kind of pushing myself away from that new moment or that new experience or the unknown? That could be so scary. That's actually the ego that's afraid, but ego isn't totally bad. The ego is kind of what keeps us going sometimes. And he says that that's one way to do a self-check to see how our endurance is, to see if we're really embracing true humility, if we're able to say, I'm infinite and great, therefore every moment and every person can also be infinite and great and new, because infinity is new, then that would show that our endurance is strong, that we're strong in ourselves because we aren't relying on things to be the same all the time. We're allowing a totally new experience. And so someone messaged me. I wasn't going to share this, but my really good friend, I really look up to them. They share amazing Devar Torahs, really an Eved HaShem. I'm so proud of them. I wasn't from always in high school. We went on this summer program to Israel. It was so powerful. Anyway, they said how maybe they would want to share a YouTube video or start something like that. I was like, whoa, yeah, totally, if that's like down your road. But then he shared how like maybe his friends would probably make fun of him and judge him. And I became so sad because I realized this world and friends may be so supportive, but they maybe won't always support someone to be new because it's uncomfortable for them. And maybe they would be afraid to ever do something like that because it's kind of ballsy, you know what I'm saying? And I was speaking to him and I was like, true humility is like totally speaking up and like doing what you feel is right. And so he'll probably watch this. So if you're watching this, I'm really proud of you for even thinking about it. You don't even have to do it. You'll totally do whatever's in your flow. But it just made me sad that was even like a thought in his head. But it's not his fault. Like, the fact that people always aren't so supportive, and that's not a true friend. A true friend is allowing you to be someone totally new. So I give this person a bracha that you should have clarity and the courage to do whatever you need to do. Your Devar Torahs are still amazing. Just was an example. Another thing I realized, if I'm not being totally humble, then I'm kind of suppressing my powers. Like if I'm not saying and recognizing my greatness, I'm kind of like taking away my greatness and the potential that I could be giving the world and giving myself. I'm taking it away and I'm hiding it because maybe I'm trying to be like someone else, or it's weird and things like this. So I found how a lot of times I would go through life and I wasn't totally honest with what I wanted to be doing at that time, and maybe I did something because it like made sense, but I wasn't. Yeah, we're human. Not all of the time I'm like acting in an infinite place. You know what I'm saying? And I kind of have lost, I guess, some of my power, and I think that just means because I've lost some of my confidence. And so a lot of this work, I think, means that you have to spend time with yourself alone and really check in to see what you want and check in to see like your attributes and what you think you could be giving to the world and trying it totally anew. All of this being said, I want to share why this is so challenging. Like, why is it always why is this a thing? If we're so infinite and so great, like, why do we always forget? And why do days become so challenging and robotic? Like, why this morning was I so excited, but then after I took out the garbage, I was like, oh. Why does that happen? So, back to the Chayinu. I'm just going to read a little excerpt. It says, Egypt is not a thing of the past, and neither is Exodus. Your soul is currently in Egypt, in Mitzrayim, under the bondage of your body and animal soul. You let your soul go free by revealing HaShem Echad, God's oneness, and how? Through studying Torah, observance of His commandments, and the Shema. Whoa. He says that every single day, basically, we have to leave Mitzrayim. So, every single day, no matter how empowered we may be, we're going to have these thoughts. And it doesn't mean that you're doing anything wrong. It actually means that I think you're pretty in tune with the reality. Because if you're never having a hardship, and if everything's so easy all the time, that doesn't mean that I wouldn't call that real growth. You know what I mean? We're in a galut, we're in exile. Our Beis HaMikdash isn't full yet. And the Beis HaMikdash represents kind of the Jewish people. No, not kind of, it does. And the fact that it's not complete and that there's a mosque on top, I can share my opinions, I don't think that's okay that there's a mosque on top of our Beis HaMikdash. That's our one place in the world that no one can touch. And they're there, but we kind of let them happen. And again, that came because we weren't self-empowered and we kind of just gave it away, whatever. That's a whole nother topic. I'm not going to go into politics. So if our body is currently in this limitation, Egypt just means like limitation, we're constantly having to break free from our limits to express ourselves. So it's totally normal that I had that thought this morning after taking out the garbage. It's totally normal to that my friend, was a little nervous to share a video. It's pretty it's not easy. But all of this is part of the human experience, and all of this, all challenges in life, we're always gonna be confronted with things that stop us or limit us and make us feel less than or whatever it is. But when we could change our perspective and realize that when we're in this limited place, we could be try to step back when your feelings are limited or scared and whatever it is. Try to step back and observe the emotion, observe the thoughts, and try to remember with our head as an intellectual knowing, wait, there's something called Egypt, there's something called a limitation, and this could be a limitation. Is this a limitation? And then looking back, and if your fear is wanting you to not do something that you want to, and it would be a positive thing, if you were to do it, then don't attach yourself to it. Watch it and let it go. And realize that we aren't like we aren't our thoughts. We aren't our emotions. They're just parts. They're just like flowing. And by that separation, in knowing that, wait a minute, there's something called a limitation. Is this a limitation? Is this an opportunity for me to rise above? Is this an opportunity for me to be infinite? Like, am I supposed to jump over this obstacle or go through it? Then we could know, like, by that knowledge, it could come into our heart. And our heart is like being. So you could understand what I'm saying on an intellectual level, but when you actually experience it, when you actually experience letting go of it, of a limitation and freeing yourself from it, like doing it anyway, trusting even if it doesn't make sense, letting someone be totally new even if it doesn't make sense, going through your day and allowing yourself to do something new, something you love, allowing someone else to be new without judging, like, whoa, that is a totally new being. And when we do that, that's actually fulfilling a mitzvah of, it said here, it's fulfilling of a mitzvah of recognizing HaShem as one. Because when we're in that limited place, we're not one with ourselves, and we're not one with with HaShem's true reality. We're separated. But through realizing that there's even a separation, then we're able to come together. And that's why the Shema is the epitome of leaving Egypt, because it's saying, whoa, HaShem is with us even when we're in exile. HaShem is with us even when I don't want to do something. HaShem is in this moment. This moment's supposed to happen, and it's totally okay. But to realize, HaShem, you're giving me this challenge. HaShem, you're with me in this challenge, and HaShem, you're going to help me get out of this challenge. So to pause, realize when there's a limitation, allow space to see that it's, and understand in your heart, not just your head, that there's a block. And then ask HaShem for help, and he will help you and take you out. So having said all of this, I hope everyone could tap into the sphere of the day, which is Malchut Benetzach, and see in their life where there's maybe something they want to do, or where they're limited, or where you're limited, and try to tap into true humility of recognizing your power and doing what you love nevertheless. So much love. Thanks for listening to my stream of thoughts again. I love to share, so thanks so much for the support, and be healthy and well.